how do we get 33 guys ready faster than our opponents? That was something that Kirby Smart said on radio in Alabama this week, talking about the newcomers at Georgia, and not just at Georgia, but everywhere in college football. I moved my depth chart board to in front of me to the left here. I got to change it more than most years. It's the rollover has not been crazy compared to the past, but it's a little bit higher. And the rollover really more than anything is about guys that are really going to play. Not, hey, we can get these freshmen ready in, 2-3 years. They don't have 2 or 3 years. It's time to go, and it's time to go right now. One thing Kirby's talked about in the past, too, for those of you who really paid attention, is that he, these are my words, not his. That Georgia has a particular timeline for guys, or college football, sports in general, that has a particular timeline. This guy will be ready in about 2.5 years. They don't have 2 or 2.5 years now. That just doesn't exist. And that's the part I think in the current world of college football that we live in, to some degree college basketball, but more football than anything, because there's more development, I would say, there, particularly on the offensive line and other positions that you just most guys that are playing basketball, or girls that are playing basketball, they play a lot of basketball. Football, you're playing your high school schedule and that's it. You will probably play more basketball in the summer in terms of games than we played 45 games one summer. I think we were 45-3. We played 48 games one summer. That was a high school season and a half, and that was way more than we played in college. We played 30 games in college. So, it's tough in football because you're trying to develop guys. So can Kirby and his staff get ready these almost quarter to a third of his roster? Can he get them ready for this fall? They're going to need to be. You're talking about 33 newcomers. Well, we know some of them are going to be players, Zachariah Branch, Noah Thomas, etc. The running back who's coming in from Illinois. They're all going to have to be ready to play. We talk about all of them in our 2025 preview. A lot of y'all are taking advantage of this already. I'm going to put the graphic up on the screen. You see Gunnar Stockton's not one of those 33 guys. He's a guy who they're going to really have to have perform and play. And the guys that are in front of him are going to have to play as well on the offensive line. But there are spots where Georgia went out and got new players, and they're going to have to play and perform. And that's just all there is to it. When you think about this Georgia team coming into this season, there's no telling who. We don't know who the best team in college football is right now, but we do know that Georgia's going to have a slew of guys, whether you're talking about the Branch brothers, Jaden Harris, Maddox, Thomas, Bell, Medozi, Horton, McCray. All these guys are going to have to get ready. We're going to talk about them in our 2025 preview. Make sure you're picking it up. I got the link on the screen and down below. We'll see. It'll get mailed out in middle June or so, something like that, middle to late June. We've got to finish up the printing and all that too. But in the midst of writing it, one of the biggest thing is about Gunnar. But I think clearly he is the story of the 25 season, at least the lead up to it. But no one player is going to win you a national championship. That's not how it works. And so you're going to have, 60, 65 guys that are really productive players on your roster. They better be ready to go. Too deep on both sides of the ball is 44, right? And sometimes you got to go deeper than that. It happens on the defensive line for sure. Quote, too deep. That's not necessarily accurate. And of course, the quarterback, whoever knows there, it's usually just a one deep, right? But you're going to have production from your players. And, you can't just have dozens of guys that aren't ready to go now. It can be a fact that they're not ready, but they do have to go out there and perform to some degree. I think there's been a lot of frustration amongst older fans of college football about the transfer portal. I guess about NIL. I think it's more about the portal than anything else. And their beef is, I'm losing interest because, we can't really invest in each player because we don't know when they're going to leave. Well, that's the fans. What do you think it's like for the coaches who are sort of defending twice a year their entire roster? I would say if you're at Georgia, you're defending everybody's defending their entire roster. That's just all there is to it. Transfer is the new thing in college sports. I think it needs to get sort of settled in a little bit. It's getting a little bit wacky for me, but we can't have what we had in the past, which we've sort of overcorrected. We can't have what we had in the past. There were guys that played on our team. You only got 5 guys 5 starters in basketball. And when you got probably 8 guys that can start somewhere, either in your league or somewhere else around the country, it's not right for them to transfer, sit out a year, and then play. I mean, what are we doing? So, but it's gotten to the point where we're just there are guys that are transferring a little too often for my liking. I mean, JT Daniels played at 5 schools, I think. SC, Georgia, SC, Georgia, West Virginia, and then, so he played at 4 places. So there are guys that have played at 5, maybe Max Johnson, LSU, A&M, North Carolina, and then somewhere, I can't remember. A lot of times it's quarterbacks. And these guys are not bad people, but they are taking advantage of a situation that's gotten a little bit out of control to me. And the schools are responsible for this. Schools can make this change right now. But the reason I'm talking in this video about 33 guys, now, Georgia's not going crazy with it. They've lost 14 guys in the portal that we can report. One of the 14, Nitro Tuggle, was going to leave, came back, got arrested, and all sorts of nuts stuff. So he was sort of ushered out the door. But think if you're Branson Robinson, it's a good thing. Jake Pope, this is his 3rd school. I think he's Alabama, Georgia, and UNLV. Come on. What are we doing after a while? Just go play at Wake Forest or South Carolina or something. I know those are not necessarily the same thing, but find your place. And I don't know. But I love where I went, and what can I say? And then I went to Georgia for grad school. So I was 6 years in and out. So I wasn't like a lot of other folks in that regard. But, Georgia's going to have to get some of these guys to really perform. Branch, probably both branches. But definitely Noah Thomas, Zachariah Branch. I think the guys in the secondary, there are holes there, if you want to call it, in quotations. But, I'm not including Colby Young as a transfer into Georgia, but he's an addition versus what they had at the end of last season. There's a lot of reason to be optimistic. But again, to go back to Kirby's notion of, hey, we got these 33 guys. We really need them to do their part. And we got to figure out how to do that before everybody else does that to us. That's the hard part. That's the part where that's the sort of newer part of college football that is going to be challenging for the coaches. I don't have I have sympathy for the coaches, but this isn't they've chosen this world. So I don't want, don't cry for me, Argentina, right? We'll be okay getting paid what we're getting paid, $40,000 a month for an assistant coach. 40,000 people watching this video are making 40,000 or fewer dollars a year. So, and they're not, they're working with their hands in some cases. So don't feel bad for the coaches, but it is a stressful job. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's not a stressful job for this group, and it's challenging, but every industry changes, y'all. I've been in media for a quarter century. I can assure you, if I were doing things the same way that I was in 2001, we would be broke. I wouldn't. So you've got to keep up with change, and change is the number one thing that will happen. There are 2 things that will happen in life. You will pass away, and there will be change. All of these things will happen. And we're going to get you to the fall by talking about all of these subjects. Make sure you're checking us out over on Dawg Post. We'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.